Digging out from round one, southern Ontario has been hammered by heavy snow. Now, this is a multi-day storm that is expected to continue into the weekend. Environment Canada's issued snow squall and storm warnings today for parts of southern Ontario, including areas along the eastern shore of Lake Huron, which could see snowfall amounts when they're all added up between 40 and 70 centimeters. Good evening. The impact of the snow that's been hammering southern Ontario may have been felt the strongest today by people who were stuck in traffic on the 401 for hours, overnight, and this morning. Two separate collisions closed part of the 401 through Cambridge for hours. Today's collision involved a truck that leaked thousands of liters of liquid asphalt onto the highway. Let's go to CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us live now along Highway 8 in Kitchener. Not far from the 401, Jeff, and you know, really just as dicey at times when it comes to those conditions, but certainly a long day for those people who were stuck on the 401.
Oh, Tony, just a terrible situation. We heard reports of people essentially being stuck on the 401 eastbound overnight. And then this morning, right around 6 o'clock, when those eastbound lanes are opening up, boom, a crash, a spill, as you mentioned. And then those westbound lanes, it was their turn for a closure for another 12 hours. Overall, just a bad day to be on the 401. A long day and night of slow traffic and frustrated drivers.
At the time of the collision, the road conditions were extremely poor, described as icy, whiteout conditions, snowy, just poor conditions overall to be driving in.
The problem started last night around 9. Conditions got so bad, transport trucks became stuck on the 401.
Unfortunately, due to these commercial motor vehicles that were blocking live lanes, in addition to that, the road conditions being icy and poor, the highway was closed for a significant period of time.
No one was injured, but delays were long. As one 9-hour closure was clearing up around 6 a.m., another collision and closure on the opposite side of the 401.
The two commercial motor vehicles that were involved, semi-trucks in nature to that size, one had collided with the rear of the other, and which caused this liquid asphalt to exit to the commercial motor vehicle that was struck from behind.
The OPP say 40,000 liters of liquid asphalt spilled onto the highway, leading to the extended closure. Anticipated reopening time is 6 this evening. In town, the situation not much better.
As of midnight last night, we declared a snow event, and then we called a full plow at 3 a.m. this morning.
The city of Kitchener with all hands on deck clearing streets.
So right now we're in a full plow situation. That means that all available resources, it's about 50 plus pieces of equipment and operators that are actually deployed to the road network.
With emergency routes and main roads a top priority, residential streets may take a while to be cleared.
Third priority is our back streets and our residential. So really what we need to do is make sure that the first two priorities are in good shape before we hit the residential roads.
But when it does come time to hit side streets, you can help make sure it gets a full plow by getting your car off the road.
So if cars are parked on a residential street, it actually impacts our ability to get down those streets, and then sometimes we're not able to maintain those roads.
Kitchener and surrounding municipalities have declared a snow event and are asking people not to park on the street or get a ticket. And again, thankfully, no injuries on those two collisions that closed the 401 for those lengthy periods of time. Overnight, Waterloo Regional Police reported over 30 collisions. Again, most of them minor. Their advice, again, as always, stay off the roads if you don't have to be on the roads. And if you are driving, make sure to take it very slow. Tony?
Yeah, it's certainly something to remember today. Jeff, thank you. CTV's Jeff Pickle along Highway 8 in Kitchener. And later in the show, the danger lurking in the driveway, the spike in cardiac events after a significant snowfall. What you need to know before you head out. Alexandra Hollick brings us that story coming up a little later in the newscast. But let's take our first look at the weather now, because those snow squall warnings that we've been under have just been updated late this afternoon. Let's give you a closer look right now as we bring those boards full screen. That orange level snow squall warning, that is covering Waterloo region over into Stratford, Listowel, and all points west toward the Lake Huron shoreline up into Mount Forest as well. That is where another 10 to 30 centimeters is possible by tomorrow morning. There's going to be a chance of continued bursts of snow as those squalls continue to move in off Lake Huron. Again, this is all expected to weaken early Saturday morning. That yellow level snow squall warning that you see Woodstock, London, over to Brantford, and just north of Kitchener up into Guelph as well. That's where you can expect another 5 to 10 centimeters. Satellite and radar image right now, let's switch to that. Gives you a look at those squalls and just how relentless they've been streaming in off southern Georgian Bay and Lake Huron, moving from the northeast, the northwest, I should say, to the southeast, and that is just what's been setting up, giving us those hours and hours sometimes of heavy snow. We'll have more weather details for you a little bit later in the show. A warning, this next story contains details about allegations of sexual assault. The trial of a former Kitchener neurologist accused of improperly touching his female patients is slowly nearing its end. Closing submissions wrapped up today at the case of Dr. Jeffrey Sloka, though it's not known when there will be a verdict. CTV's Krista Simpson has the latest.
Dr. Jeffrey Sloka leaves the Waterloo Region Courthouse as another phase in his trial ends. A week of oral closing arguments wrapped up Friday morning. Sloka is charged with 48 counts of sexual assault. The complainants, all female patients at his private neurology practice in Kitchener. Sloka is accused of touching their breasts, vaginas, and other intimate areas during appointments, as well as improperly draping patients, examining some when they were completely naked. Sloka's lawyers argue there were medical reasons for the examinations he did, and some were because Sloka had a broad medical interest that went beyond his specialty of neurology. The Crown is arguing that Sloka touched the women for sexual purpose. When Dr. Sloka operates outside of neurology, he is doing that to gain access to the complainants, who are all women, and their bodies, prosecutor Julia Forward told court. The Crown is also arguing even if the judge doesn't find sexual purpose was Sloka's motivation, Sloka can still be found guilty if the judge believes the women's sexual integrity was violated. It's the Crown's position it's not Dr. Sloka who gets to decide how these patients are touched. The whole point of the law is to protect sexual autonomy and sexual integrity, Forward said.
Sloka's fate is now in the hands of Justice Craig Perry, who did not give a firm timeline as to when he might be ready with his decision.
A check-in date has been set for the end of February, with the judge saying he hopes to have some good news as to the timeline at that point. Sloka's trial began more than 4 years ago in September 2021. Krista Simpson, CTV News, Kitchener.
Ontario's Court of Appeal has ordered a new trial for a man convicted of murdering an Etobicoke girl more than 30 years ago. Timothy Reese was convicted of second-degree murder in the death of 10-year-old Darla Thurrott in 1989. He was convicted in 1990 and was granted parole in 2016. The Court of Appeal concluded there was a miscarriage of justice in the case because a police interview with another suspect was not disclosed. Now it's up to Crown prosecutors to decide whether to pursue a new trial against Reese. Hundreds of residents are displaced tonight, more than 24 hours after flames broke out at 2 apartment buildings in Toronto. It's being called one of the most complex blazes that firefighters in that city have fought in recent memory. CTV's Janice Golding has more.
A massive response. Crews from 77 fire trucks working rotating shifts through the night as they try to knock down a complex 5-alarm blaze.
The challenge right now is the location. What is burning is the insulation between the buildings and between the walls. The firefighters can't just start cutting into walls, given gas lines, given hydro and power lines.
An active fire not visible from outside, the flames instead spreading insidiously behind the walls.
I was working from home and the fire alarm went off, and then we noticed smoke with my husband and it was actually visible.
The fire started around 1:30 yesterday afternoon in the parking garage of 11 Thorncliffe Park Drive, and by evening had spread to the building next door, 21 Overley Boulevard.
I left just after 2 o'clock after the fire alarms went off. And I got back around midnight and got told that I can't go home and got sent to the Thorncliffe Community Center.
With high carbon monoxide levels detected, all residents were evacuated. Some headed to a local community center, while others took shelter in a nearby TTC bus.
Currently, I've got a temporary residence at my older brother's home. He's over in Spadina, St. Clair. So I'm hoping it won't be too long because I don't want to inconvenience his family.
While many have found their own way, the Red Cross says it is currently providing emergency accommodation and food to 114 people.
My hearts go out to all the residents that had to leave their homes last night. We're here for you. You are not alone.
While they are being permitted into their units to collect personal items, it's unknown how long residents will be displaced for.
We're still active firefighting and air monitoring. The good news is the temperatures and CO are going down, but we can't predict a timeline right now.
What can you say? It's carbon monoxide, right? It's a slow killer, so you don't want to take any chances with that.
An investigation into how the fire started will take place once it is completely extinguished.
CTV's Janice Golding with that report. The Ford government is appointing an administrator to take over the province's real estate regulator. It's in response to their handling of the iPro Realty scandal. Today, dozens of affected realtors gathered at Queen's Park demanding answers. CTV's Siobhan Morris has details.
Months of frustration brought realtors to Queen's Park, demanding answers and action on the iPro Realty and Real Estate Council of Ontario mess.
I have never, since 1989, seen a fiasco, a scandal like this.
In May, iPro's founders pulled $10 million out of the brokerage's trust account. The regulator, RICO, didn't get involved or freeze assets until August.
We believe in protecting our clients. We ask that someone finally protects us too.
The Minister of Public and Business Service Delivery and Procurement has seen enough, appointing an administrator to take control of RICO. Writing to the council Friday, I have concluded that decisive action is required, noting that an audit completed this month raises concerns about RICO's ability to restore public confidence in the real estate services sector and protect consumers during one of the largest purchases of their lives. What's not clear is when realtors will get the commission they've been waiting on, frozen in a trust fund.
I am still owed $50,000. We live paycheck to paycheck. I had to take out a loan just to cover our basic bills.
Brian Thompson is waiting on $75K. The father of an 18-month-old has taken out a line of credit, but it's not a lasting solution.
We have to pay bill, pay gas. We still have to serve clients. We still have to buy gift for them when they got the house and on other expenses.
Expenses that cannot wait.
I have lost my confidence.
While the financial hit stings.
I care more about the future, what this is going to do to the profession. I want people to be punished. Pay us now.
Justice and wholesale changes to prevent more pain down the road. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
A proposed change to Ontario's consumer protection laws has some shoppers worried about what could happen to their loyalty points. The change is contained in a much larger red tape reduction bill. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has those details.
The holidays can be expensive, and for many, like Andre Michaud, loyalty points like PC Optimum are a small but important way to save money.
I try to build them up every year so that I can help with the groceries or whatever, for the kids at Christmas time, because it's very difficult.
But a proposed change in provincial legislation has some worried about what could happen to those points in the future.
Weeks before Christmas, the Grinch is threatening to steal their points.
Ottawa MPP Stephen Blais says Bill 46, currently making its way through Queen's Park, rewrites the rules currently governing reward points in Ontario.
The government is stripping out a one-line piece of the Consumer Protection Act, which simply says that reward loyalty points cannot expire simply due to the passage of time.
Instead, the bill would replace that clause with a new framework, giving the government power to set new rules later, rules that could allow points to expire under certain circumstances. But the province is pushing back, saying in a statement it's taken action to strengthen consumer protection and is building on those protections to ensure points cannot be canceled or expired.
I would definitely be not happy. I have a lot of points to shoppers, and I'm going to use them for groceries.
I would be disappointed, very disappointed, because these days I find like everything helps.
And while nothing changes right now, Blais says it leaves the door open for future expiry rules.
They've chosen to eliminate this consumer protection element from the law and decide in future, in secret, other rules that Ontarians are just going to have to live with.
A possibility shoppers say is worrying, especially this time of year.
It all helps to for your budget and for spending money, and I really do value them.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
An Etobicoke dentist whose company received millions in government grants appears to be claiming to be the dentist of the Ford family. As CTV's John Woodward tells us, there's one problem. Ontario's premier says he's never been there.
JM Dental in Etobicoke looks over Douglas B. Ford Park, named for the father of Ontario's current premier. And the clinic on its website appears to claim even more connections with the Fords, saying to potential patients, "We want you to feel as comfortable and relaxed as the Ford family has during their visits with us."
I treat my patients like their family.
The director of the clinic is John Magirius. Records show he's given tens of thousands to the governing PC party and its candidates. A video shows him joking with Ford at a fundraiser. Too close for comfort, says Ontario's opposition, questioning whether that relationship played a part in another of Magirius's companies, DentaCloud, getting just over $2 million from the controversial Skills Development Fund.
This is a $2.5 billion fund, and this is not the Premier's personal piggy bank.
Ford did appear in photos with Magirius posted by the Premier's office, but when asked about it Thursday,
I haven't been there. I'll have to check if my Rob's kids, my brother's kids, but come on.
No word on that from the Premier's office Friday. Older photos show Ford's late brother Rob at the clinic more than 10 years ago.
Hi there.
The office didn't respond to emails on Thursday, so we went in person.
We've been trying to reach you guys about the question of this endorsement on the website.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
They asked us to leave. You don't often see personal testimonials on dentist websites in Ontario, and when we asked legal experts why, they referred us to the advertising rules for dentists.
I generally would guide away from making a statement like this.
Kyle Hamilton of the dental marketing company says even if dentists get patients' consent for advertising, rules forbid them from testimonials or any statement that can only be verified by a person's personal feelings or views.
That statement certainly raises a lot of questions as to how is it verifiable.
Ford saying he had nothing to do with the $2 million grant.
That's why I have ministers. I don't micromanage. I hold everyone accountable, I can tell you that. But no, I don't get into you do this, you do that. It doesn't happen. But anyways, next question.
One sign that the website of that dentist didn't exactly leave Ford smiling. John Woodward, CTV News.
A whiteout of a day didn't stop some people from checking in with their Black Friday plans. Coming up, we're going to be hearing what shoppers were out searching for today as a sea of sales kicks off the holiday shopping season.
I'm Alexandra Hollick. Also tonight, digging into the dangers of snow shoveling. Health officials say they see a spike in cardiac cases following a significant snowfall. We'll have more on what you need to know before you head out after the break.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVKitchener.ca, your home for news.
The first order of business for a lot of people after a winter wallop like the one we got today tends to be shoveling the driveway. But tonight, health officials are reminding shovelers to take precautions and help prevent serious injuries. Let's go to CTV's Alexandra Hollick now for more on this. Alexandra, what are some of the recommendations?
Tony, one expert calls it the 5 S's: stretching, shift work, size, slowing down, and watching for signs of a heart attack. All things to keep in mind, especially since this is only the start of the snowy season. Deanne Theriault has lived in Kitchener's Forest Heights neighborhood for 15 years. And every time it snows, she's out shoveling.
Wow, do we ever get a lot of snow in Kitchener.
When Theriault isn't clearing her driveway, she's helping her neighbors with theirs. But all that heavy lifting can take a major toll.
It is very strenuous. The snow can be really, really heavy. So for myself, I just try to do it in sections, not all at once.
Across the street,
for the most part, I just keep going until something hurts. But I know, like, it's for me, I'm like, this is cardio. This is the most cardio I get. I do software, so I don't do a lot. So I figure it's some exercise.
We treat shoveling like it's something easy. It really can't be treated that way.
Dr. Al Kawash is the cardiac director at the Waterloo Regional Health Network. He says when snow falls, hospitals see an uptick in heart attack intakes.
We see anywhere from 10 to 20% increase over the winter months with cardiac patients.
And that's why he recommends taking precautions.
Making sure that your body is stretched, you're warmed up, arms, legs, and back. Make sure you're doing shift work. Don't take on a whole big area, take on smaller areas and take breaks.
He also suggests getting a shovel that helps lighten the load.
It's a smaller path, so you're not overloading yourself. All right, great for older folks that don't want to be lifting too much. It also reduces the amount you have to bend over.
Others opt for some heavy machinery.
For me, I have a pretty bad back, so it just takes that effort out of it from lifting the snow up.
Any way you dig it, experts say the most important thing is to stay safe.
Making sure you don't underestimate the activity that you're doing. Again, it might feel easy at some points, but it's actually very strenuous on your heart and your health.
You're going to get snow and you've got to move it, so slow and steady wins the race, I guess.
There are programs available for people who aren't able to shovel their driveway and for those who want to volunteer to help. Snow Angels Canada is a nationwide service that people can sign up for in any city, while the City of Waterloo also runs a similar program of its own. Tony.
Good to know. Alexandra, thank you. That's CTV's Alexandra Hollick joining us. An 8-year-old girl is battling a rare medical condition, which has left her parents with more questions than answers. Her family is now on a quest to fund research for a treatment amid the hope that they are getting closer to a cure. CTV's Natalie Johnson reports.
What's that called?
At home on the piano.
G sharp to B to E.
8-year-old Penny's practice is music to her dad's ears.
Penny is a happy kid. She's incredibly resilient and persistent. She's a bright light.
A bright light who is growing up with a medical challenge that is far from black and white.
As you can imagine, for any parent, it's incredibly overwhelming and worrying to get a diagnosis for your kid, especially when the doctors that you're seeing don't know really what the condition is.
Where are you going, Penny?
It all began when Penny was a baby, struggling to crawl.
It's in the cups, Penny.
And meet other motor milestones.
No, you have to do jumping.
For 5 years, she underwent relentless testing before full genetic sequencing revealed a diagnosis, an ultra-rare form of muscular dystrophy called selenon-related myopathy.
It was something that gave us one answer, that answered the big why, and this is why she has these muscle problems, but it only leads to more questions.
Penny's family learned that the condition would affect her muscles over time, including those that she needs to breathe.
I can't run as fast, and my legs get tired really easily.
You helping your sister?
But there was no cure, no treatment.
Those sleepless nights, just like worried and feeling totally helpless and alone. And just in the middle of the night, one night, I remember at 3 a.m., I decided I'd start with like a GoFundMe.
That first fundraising soon blossomed into a full-fledged charity. Penny's Promise was born.
Medical research is incredibly expensive, and when there is no funding except for the families themselves, it puts an enormous pressure on us to find the money to pay for this.
We're doing all the best things we can.
18 months later, through 2 galas, monthly pledges, and more, Penny's Promise has now raised more than $300,000 for medical research.
It's always so difficult to predict, but I think that our hope is we will be able to develop a treatment that can be tested in children or even adults with Selenon myopathy sometime in the next 5 years.
Maybe one day in the far future, when we've got an answer for Penny, we can help other rare disease families that have such a heavy load to bear.
A heavy load that Penny's family lives with every day as they search for a cure.
Penny's promise is our promise to our daughter. We won't let her grow up without doing everything we possibly can.
It's your favorite part.
As Penny shines, lighting up their lives.
All right, you gonna hit it off the top?
Natalie Johnson bringing us that report. Okay, live look outside now. You can see the wind has picked up. This is a live shot from Kitchener as we overlook Highway 8. It's been a very, very slippery, snowy, slushy drive. So another night to take it easy because we are expecting more snow squalls through the night. So the plowing that's been done could have to be done all over again with some extra accumulation expected. We'll have the weather details coming up in a few minutes. Also ahead, from Slovakia to Kitchener, we'll meet one of the Rangers whose family is cheering him on from afar on this week's Beyond the Bench. But next, unexpected growth for Canada's economy. We'll dive into the latest numbers in just a few minutes. All right, bit of an unusual day here. You're stuck with me for weather tonight because there's nobody else here to do it, but that's okay. The only thing we'll have to worry about is me possibly yapping too much. So guys, just cut me off if we go over time with this forecast. Thankfully, I've had a chance to familiarize myself with all the warnings and watches, and there's a lot to talk about. Let's give you a live look first, though, outside at a little bit of a treat right now. A break in the clouds means we've got this live look at the moon right now. Full moon on December the 4th, so 1 week from tonight. Appropriately, that is known as the cold moon, and it's actually exactly 1 week from tonight. It peaks during the 6 o'clock hour next Friday evening. So actually next Thursday evening, I should say, December the 4th. That's something to look ahead to. All right, let's get into our warnings, though, because there is a big story to take you through about the weather over the next 2 to 3 days. It's not over yet. Let's get to the warnings right now. Those orange areas, that is the orange level watch, and that's where we're expecting to see more of an impact from those snow squalls continuing, another 10 to 30 centimeters. So included in that orange area is Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, Stratford, Mitchell, right over to Lake Huron. And then the yellow area you see, that is the yellow watch where the impact level is a little bit lower, another 5 to 10 centimeters of snow expected. This is all overnight and into tomorrow morning, by the way. 10 to 30 in the orange area, 5 to 10 in the yellow area. And that really just depends on what direction the wind is blowing in as to who gets the most. I mean, some of these squalls have been setting up for and just parking over top of communities for hours. Others have been moving along pretty briskly if the wind hits them the right way. Let's take a look at our future cast. There's a multi-part story to tell you here. So this is what we're expecting around 6 o'clock tonight. This is actually right now, and we're going to advance things forward because you can see what happens with those squalls as we get to 1 o'clock this morning. They weaken a little bit, but that's after an evening of pretty strong squalls. And then let's move ahead to a little bit later Saturday morning around well, afternoon on Saturday, actually, by dinner hour. You can see most of it gets out of the way, and it's just cloud for Saturday evening. So squalls tonight, hanging around into tomorrow morning, and then just cloud as we head to the dinner hour tomorrow. But then when we get into Sunday, A lot more purple on the screen. This is not squalls. This is a system that's going to be roaring in from the U.S. across Michigan right into southern Ontario, and that's going to bring us system snow as opposed to squall snow. I know to a lot of us it's just snow no matter what, but there is a difference in the way we're getting it, and Sunday it's going to be a classic snowstorm day, and you can see actually some green mixing into that area on the Futurecast on Sunday. Those areas could see mixed precipitation on the pink and green, where rain, I should say, where the green is hovering over top of the map. So Sunday night could be a little bit messy close to the lake shores. Let's take a look at our almanac now. So -1 is what we hit today, and that's a little lower than the seasonal normal of +2. -6, our overnight low. That's about right on par. I can't remember this 1990 day when it was allegedly 18 degrees on November the 28th, but it happened. I was probably enjoying it when I was out delivering newspapers. Let's move on now to the almanac and get into no, that was the almanac. You see what happens? I told you this was going to happen. We all knew this was going to happen. It's okay. Overnight, -6, flurries and squalls. That 5 to 30 centimeters, that's the range, because it's really going to depend on how long those squalls park over you, depending on where you are. I know we're out of time, but I'm going through the rest of this. -1 tomorrow is our daytime high, 40% chance of flurries sticking around into the morning. So heavy squalls tonight, some more flurries tomorrow morning. And then in Waterloo region, that system we talked about brings us another possible 5 to 10 centimeters of snow on Sunday. We do get a couple of sunny breaks tomorrow afternoon before that snowstorm moves in, and then a chance of flurries through the rest of the week. Lambton, Kent, Essex, you fare off a little bit better because you're farther south and you're a little bit away from some of that colder air. 40% chance of flurries tomorrow, some sleet possible on Sunday, so it could be messy with some rain mixing in. Monday through Wednesday, you're going to see some sunny breaks. Now, southern Georgian Bay, you could see a little bit more snow on that second system that's rolling in on Sunday, 5 to 10 centimeters plus, and then a good chance of lake effect snow continuing throughout the week around southern Georgian Bay, anywhere from a 30 to 70% chance from Monday right through to Thursday of seeing some more snow, but the sun expected to return 1 week from today. So that's a look at our forecast, and we'll recap it for you once again at the end of the show. Well, the Canadian economy has blown past expectations, avoiding a technical recession by posting some surprising growth in the third quarter. We get the details now from CTV's Abigail Beeman.
Hi, Ontario people. That's what we need to do, is support each other.
Some economists say gross domestic product growth is proof months of Buy Canadian ads and measures are working even with an unresolved trade war.
We saw imports drop 2.2%, which is a huge decline in the amount of foreign goods that we're consuming here in Canada. And that's really what helped to propel the economy forward, along with some increasing government spending.
Canada's real gross domestic product rose 2.6% on an annualized basis in the third quarter of 2025. Imports dropped 2.2% and exports climbed 0.2%.
This puts aside kind of the recession talks, or certainly the worries that we had about 2 negative quarters, but it doesn't really kind of take away the kind of, how should I say, concern that we have around the economy still.
Statistics Canada says business investment was flat and household spending dropped slightly. The Prime Minister picks a positive spin and takes credit, posting the growth beats expectations and we're getting results.
At the surface, the data looks good. It's positive. But scratching beneath the surface, what you see is that there's some prudence. Consumers are prudent. You see that in the way they've increased their savings.
This economic snapshot comes ahead of the Bank of Canada's last interest rate decision of the year on December 10th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The pipeline agreement that the Prime Minister struck with Alberta's Premier is risky for Mark Carney. A key cabinet minister of his has already resigned, and there could be more blowback. CTV's Judy Trin has more on the risks.
For a project like that to come to reality, you'd have to make sure that there is social acceptance, certainly if it's going to BC.
After 6 years in the Liberals' inner circle, Stephen Guilbeault quit as Minister of Culture, unable to stomach the Prime Minister's shift toward pipelines. Just hours after Mark Carney signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Alberta's Premier, Guilbeault resigned. He said several elements of the climate change action plan he worked on are about to be dismantled, including consumer carbon pricing, zero-emission vehicle standards, and the emissions cap on the oil and gas sectors.
I'll disagree with the characterization that we're rolling things back when we've actually committed to strengthening the industrial carbon price, strengthening methane regulations, extending the methane regulation.
Guilbeault will remain in caucus. Other Liberal MPs feel strongly about the environment. About 30 are part of a newly formed climate caucus.
He's dedicated his life to climate issues, and it's completely understandable that he would stand on that principle. Does that mean that there's a cancer spreading through the caucus? Absolutely not.
Guilbeault was also the Quebec lieutenant. Now Carney will have to find someone else to help him navigate the politics of La Belle Province.
Mark Carney is not a Quebecer. Mark Carney is not culturally, linguistically in the flow of Quebec. He relies on that Quebec lieutenant.
On social media, the Prime Minister thanks Stephen Guilbeault for his work in advancing sustainability. Mark Carney must now turn his attention to finding a new Minister of Canadian Culture. He could also use a vacancy for a cabinet shuffle. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Up next, Black Friday kicks off a season of sales, but do this year's tougher economic times provide a new hurdle for retailers over the next several weeks? Closer look at that next.
It's time to build a toy mountain.
Make this holiday season merry for so many kids.
Bring new unwrapped toys to your local Canadian Tire.
All in support of the Salvation Army. We'll be collecting donations from November 19th to December 24th.
With all donations helping families right here in our community. Toy Mountain, supported by the Core Group, Goman's Appliances, and the Crack Specialists.
Let's make this the best toy mountain ever. Visit ctvkitchener.ca for more ways to donate.
The snow squalls made it a little difficult this morning, but some dedicated shoppers were out bright and early to get a hold of Black Friday sales. This was the scene at Best Buy on Fairway Road in Kitchener this morning. A small lineup of people ready to snap up some sales as Black Friday officially kicked off. From the latest electronics to home office equipment, managers at the store say customers turned out to find some deals.
I will tell you, customers are excited about what's happening in the store. It's transitioned a little bit over the years, so we used to have Black Friday the day, and that's where everybody would wait for that day to happen. Our sales usually now start a little bit earlier, so in this case, a lot of these deals started last week, and they're just carrying through. Today is the big day, but some of the deals have been here for a little while.
Black Friday sales will continue through the weekend. And Black Friday is a retail holiday that most Canadian businesses have circled on their calendar. Used to be a weekend event, now it's really a month-long affair that this year is up against some strong economic headwinds. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more.
Every item on the shelves of Patty Taggart's toy store are carefully chosen.
It's so great for fine motor skills.
Each one designed to bring someone joy, especially during the holidays.
We start in about May or June. We start looking at, what's available, what's going to be the trends.
Like most retailers, Black Friday helps get people into her independent toy shop and kick off holiday sales.
This week is definitely a busier week. It's sort of been a slow start to November, but I think it's just because people really like to put thought into what they're buying. Everybody's watching their budgets right now. So they're coming in and they're really looking at things and saying, okay, is this going to be something they're really going to like?
Retail experts say the American shopping tradition of Black Friday, the day after U.S. Thanksgiving, took off in Canada around 15 years ago. It was a way to encourage Canadians to spend their money at home instead of going south of the border. Back then, it was a long weekend event. Now, it often lasts a month.
If you're a retailer, the more times you can engage in shopping with your consumer by having daily deals or weekly deals, you can get them to spend more, perhaps at your store, than they would otherwise.
For retailers, the longer sales period translates into more business. For consumers, the discounts result in much-needed savings at a time when most surveys say Canadians are looking to spend less and buy less than ever before.
Part of it is that retailers realize that Canadians don't have the ability to spend like they used to
but still wanting to capitalize on consumer purchases. And so you have to meet shoppers where they're at. So that means greater discounts.
Retail experts say those discounts are being offered earlier than ever before. And that's because Canadians are no longer waiting until late December to get their shopping done. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
And speaking of Ottawa, we're looking at some Christmas time bragging rights in the Byward Market. Later on CTV News, why a tree in the popular tourist district has become a really hot topic.
Disney's The Muppet Christmas Carol in concert is coming to Centre in the Square in December, featuring a screening of the film with the musical score performed live. Enter now at ctvkitchener.ca for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the show.
Kitchener Rangers defenseman Jakub Kromiak is a key part of the team's leadership group. He shares how much it means to have his family cheering him on from his hometown in Slovakia. On this week's edition of Beyond the Bench.
Evan Van Gorp, here's Romano back in there, quick shot, scores! Kromiak!
My name is Jakub Kromiak. I play the defense, and this is my second year with the Kitchener Rangers.
And then all of a sudden you got Romano feeding Kromiak.
Growing up, I was playing soccer and hockey, and when was the time to decide between these two sports, it was I was always just more of a hockey guy. I didn't want to run that much.
Humphreys for Vermeulen for Prudhomme, score! Or Kromiak, that is!
The thing that keeps me motivated probably every single game is my family. They're just back home, and they usually when we play, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning there. They wake up, they watch the game. I just know that I just have to work hard every single shift because I want to make them proud.
Then back to Prudhomme. Prudhomme, a big bullet, slap shot, bouncing puck, scores! Jakub Kromiak!
One of my inspirations is for sure my brother. He watches most of my games when he can, and he's trying to help me, so I take his advice, and yeah, it's really helpful to have a brother that plays hockey also.
And we'll have more news in a moment. First, Ashley has a look at what's coming up here on CTV tonight.
What better way to spend a snowy Friday night than watching E-Talk at 7 o'clock, followed by Big Bang Theory at 7:30, and then finish off your night with Star Wars and New Hope at 8.
105.3 Virgin Radio is KW's #1 hit music station. Home of Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning. Listen to 105.3 Virgin Radio everywhere with the iHeartRadio app.
All right, time now for your wake-up weather for your Saturday morning. And this is going to be, of course, after we get some more snow squalls tonight. We're still under a snow squall warning. Anywhere from 10 to 30 more centimeters possible in Waterloo region, Stratford, and areas over to Huron County, whereas in the Guelph area, as well as Brantford, Woodstock, you're looking at more like 5 to 10. But in any event, by 6 a.m., a chance of those flurries still continuing, maybe tapering off around mid-morning. And then we're going to see a lot more sun by midday, so we should have a pretty decent Saturday in between snowstorms, if you will. And finally for us tonight, a debate in Ottawa. A Christmas tree has gone up in the Byward Market for the holidays. However, there is debate over whether it is the tallest one in the city. CTV's Dylan Dyson investigates.
For Natalie Martel, a Christmas tree this big is picture-worthy.
Me and my son, who lives in France, get together at Christmas time and we visit Christmas markets, and we usually end up being in awe of some gigantic Christmas tree. So last Thursday at the illumination of this tree, I came by, and although it was nice, I was a little underwhelmed.
That tree was a stand-in until this one was ready. But this tree
It's big. It's pretty big.
The Byward Market District Authority says its new Christmas tree is the tallest in the city.
This tree is 48 feet. I hear that the base and diameter is about 20 feet. And we know that we have a number of large trees in the city. The Rideau Center, that one's quite tall. I don't know the height of that, but I believe this one is taller than the one at Lansdowne.
I was at the Lansdowne lighting, and I think this one is, yeah, it's taller.
And they would be right. The tree in front of the Aberdeen Pavilion at the Ottawa Christmas Market comes in at 40 feet. And while it may have the most decorations, the tree inside the Rideau Center measures a mere 36 feet tall.
It's going to be fabulous. I love Christmas, and seeing a Christmas tree, especially that big, wow.
With the city's tallest tree going up and Christmas markets already in full swing before December, it seems Ottawa is officially in the holiday spirit.
From the outside looking in, as a spectator, it looks to me like it's been very well received. We don't have any data specifically, but everyone seems to be enjoying it, and there definitely has been some major crowds where I've been.
Already there's a star up top, so I'm excited.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
There you go. And don't forget to join us at 11:30 tonight. Among the stories we'll be following, the Cambridge Redhawks. Colton Weens was telling you about them earlier this week. They have a chance for their 24th win in a row tonight when they are in St. Mary's. They could also break a league record this weekend, so we'll keep an eye on that. And we'll leave you with some snowy scenes. Of course, this has really been that switch getting flipped from fall to winter, and it looks like we're locked in now after those snow squalls began rolling in yesterday, continuing tonight, tapering off tomorrow, a bit of a break, and then back into a snowstorm on Sunday. Hey, thanks for joining us on this Friday. We'll see you again tonight at 11:30. Have a good night.